afternoon, everyone. Oh, y'all sound good. Y'all look good. Thank y'all for coming out to our ribbon cutting. And if you are a friend of the YWCA, you know that we start every event with our land acknowledgement. So before we begin today, we want to first take a moment to honor and acknowledge the custodians of this land that we are on today, the Chesapeake and the Lumbee Nations, and pay our respect to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognize and acknowledge that the land that we stand on today is on the traditional homelands occupied by the Chesapeake people, Algonquian-speaking Indian people, and Algonquian-speaking Indian people. We also acknowledge that the Chesapeake people, as the traditional custodians of the Southampton Roads region, along with Nansemond to the west, Lumbee to the south, Kecoughtan to the north, and Accomack to the east. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We recognize the U.S. Department of Arts and Culture, Native Land, for their work to amplify land acknowledgements and provide resources for organizations like YWCA Southampton Roads, who are committed to doing this work toward an equitable relationship and reconciliation of all Native peoples. As a step toward honoring the truth and achieving healing and reconciliation, we commit to open all public events and gatherings with a statement acknowledging the traditional Native lands on which we stand. Such statements become truly meaningful when coupled with authentic relationships and sustained commitment. We therefore commit to move beyond words into programs and actions that fully embody a commitment to Indigenous rights and cultural equity. Furthermore, YWCA Southampton Roads honors the enslaved Black people that were brought to this land back in 1619 to till this soil and treated as less than humane for a duration of more than 400 years. We acknowledge and uplift their legacies. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Y'all look amazing. Thank you. I just want to take a moment for you guys to take a look around the room. Take a moment. Take a look. You're in Portsmouth, Virginia. So first I want to give a round of applause to Portsmouth, Virginia and the Mustard Seed Place for allowing us to be here today. So if we could give Portsmouth. All right. So I know that I just seen the mayor step out here in Portsmouth, but I do know outside of the mayor, we do have some leaders here. I want to recognize Senator Warner's office is here in the building. If you could stand. Senator Warner's office. Senator Kane's military outreach is here. Congressman Bobby Scott in his offices. I also want to recognize any Portsmouth leadership here on city council, school board, or the other. Do we have Kimberly Wimbish here from Don Scott? Okay, I'm sorry. All right. I also recognize that we have some Norfolk leaders here. Any leaders from Norfolk City Council, School Board? Give them a round of applause. I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to say that this is a full circle moment for me. My name is Jasmine Smith. I am an entrepreneur. I am an advocate. I am a business strategist, and I am everybody's favorite volunteer here in Hampton Roads. I've done a lot of work, and I've worked with so many different organizations here, and I've come to love not just Virginia, but specifically Hampton Roads. This region is so rich to me. I actually came here first on a business trip with my company. And I remember coming across the bridge, and it was late at night, and the lights were on. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is so beautiful. I didn't know that a few years later that I would find myself working here. And for me, I've been working for a really long time in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been on my own since I was 11 years old. My mom was a teenage runaway, 17 years old. My father, a local drug dealer, tad bit older than her. I have a twin brother. I was born in the 80s in Los Angeles during the crack epidemic. My mother became a victim of that epidemic. I switched schools 17 times in between the kindergarten and the 12th grade. I can't tell you how many homes I've lived in, how many cars I've slept in, how many nights that me and my siblings didn't have a place to go. I watched my mother struggle to find a home, often relying on whatever man was in her life. And when that man left her life, they also left us. So I learned very early to rely on myself. As a matter of fact, I made it a point to say that I would never rely on anyone. I would do it all on my own. I started selling candy when I was in middle school. I took those skills, I used those skills. Even after switching schools so many times, I went to the military, I graduated high school, I went to the Army, and everybody thought that I was gonna do a really great job. You made it, Jasmine. But that 17-year-old girl who nobody acknowledged, no one talked to, no one seen, somebody seen her and told her that she was pretty. And she believed him. And he had a car. He would later ruin my military career. I would find myself out of the military and pregnant. The night that I woke up in the hospital and learned that I was pregnant, they asked me, are you seeing a doctor? Are you taking any prenatal vitamins? I couldn't speak because my jaw wouldn't open. He had attacked me. I laid there in that bed in that hospital, and I listened to the doctors run tests and talk behind me about this pregnancy that I had. I told them the situation that I was in. They did nothing. I remember going online and looking for resources. And I remember typing into Yahoo, "My husband is abusing me." For about 5 or 6 pages of me scrolling, the only thing that came up was defense attorneys for domestic violence. There were no organizations that I could call. There were no shelters. There was no police officer. There was no one who I could talk to. As a matter of fact, as my husband went through the process of being charged for that crime, the only thing that they could offer me was to leave. And that's actually how I ended up in Virginia 15 years ago. The victims of crime in the state of Nevada moved me and my 3-year-old daughter here 15 years ago. I came here to start a new life. I found so much success. I broke records at every company that I've ever worked at. And then my daughter, who was 9, and she told me, "Does your boss know that you have a kid?" The life I had lived had created someone who was so determined to win, who wanted success so bad and worked so hard. I couldn't even stop to recognize the success that I was having during that time. And all of the work that I was doing, I said that I was doing it for my daughter, and my daughter was saying that I wasn't doing a good job. Didn't matter how much money I made, didn't matter how many summers she spent in Europe, how many trips she's been on. I missed everything that was important to her. And then I had to make a decision one day. And I said I wanted to do something that mattered. I wanted to do something to give back. I couldn't have been put into this position, placed right here in Virginia, succeeding in all of the areas that I did, being a child of trauma, and then working with women and men every single day who I was forcing to sell more and do more. And when I sat down with those employees and I asked them, I traveled the country asking our frontline employees, what could I do to make your job better? It wasn't more money. It wasn't better pizza. It was the fact that they had so much going on in their everyday life that they were distracted from their job. Those occurrences from constantly being late, it's because they're living in another city, sleeping in a shelter, sleeping in their car. There's a lot of leaders in this room right now. I bet many of you would be shocked to know that you have someone or someones in your offices that you work with who are currently homeless. They don't have an address. You don't know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. And so when I was faced with the crisis to solve for the company, I seen another solution. And I started asking some of the employees about their resources. Where are you finding resources? How can I help you outside of the company? And I came across the YWCA. And I remember when I came in for a meeting and I was speaking with the leadership and they said, well, Jasmine, why? Why in the world? You want to work here? And I said, yes, I want to work here. And she said, well, why? You're so successful. We cannot pay you the money that you make. And I told her that it didn't matter because I wanted to be a better grandma. I wanted to be the mother that my daughter would call when she needed help. I wanted to be a resource to my daughter and to every other daughter and to every other little Jasmine that didn't fight like me, that couldn't fight like me, because there was no one. I'm rare. I'm rare, I'm the anomaly. And I can tell you that because I have a twin brother and his circumstances are completely different from mine. I love the work of the YWCA. I love it so much. I worked there for 4 years. I worked there for 4 years while I also was running a restaurant and 2 other businesses. I spent my evenings working there. So when I stand here in front of you and I look all of you right in your eyes, I want you to remember my face. I know sometimes when we think of domestic violence victims, we think of someone who has no strength, is weak, can't stand up for themselves. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. And it really takes people like you who are in positions of power to know and understand that people like me exist, but there are some who need you. They need you to see them because they are not as loud as Jasmine Smith. Some don't have the courage to tell you. I want you all to leave this room with the thought in your mind, we grow up. We are a part of your companies. A lot of times we're your hardest workers. I remember when I was talking to one of my leaders about the issues. And I'll never forget the words that she told me before I decided that I was done. And she said, "You're fighting so much for them, Jasmine. They're not like you. They don't dress like you. They don't talk like you. They don't walk like you. You're fighting for them, and they will be fighting in my parking lot over their baby daddy next week while you're fighting for them. It's not worth it. I am telling you, as someone who once was that person, we are worth it. Sometimes we just need somebody to see us, to see what's special in us, to know that we are working hard, to know if you give us the opportunity, there's no one who will fight harder or be more determined to live than the woman that you reach your hand out to. Thank you. We can have fun too, because there is life. There is life, there is happiness, there is joy afterwards. And Virginia saved me And I am so thankful to call this place home. So let us move on. I believe we have a video. Ready? Video? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, thank you. I'm sorry. Well, next we'll have remarks.
Jasmine, thank you so much for sharing your story and honoring us with your truth. Your call to action was so powerful and moving, and I hope every single individual, leader, supporter in the room takes that with them as they go out into the world today. Good afternoon. My name is Amasa Andes. I have the immense privilege of serving on the board of directors for the YWCA of Southampton Roads. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to this monumental event. At the YWCA, we are stepping into a new day, one where survivors are not just stabilized, but empowered. Guided by our 2025 through 2028 strategic plan, we are transforming from a crisis response model into a proactive, equity-centered engine for healing, mobility, and lasting change. Through intentional restructuring, renewed leadership, and deeper alignment with our mission, we are building a trauma-informed, survivor-led future where dignity and possibility take the lead. This ribbon cutting is more than just opening of a new location, of new programs. It's the opening of new doors for opportunity, equity, and justice in our community. We are creating spaces where women are empowered, voices are heard, and real, systematic change can take root. We are expanding our impact and strengthening the foundation for generations to come. I want to take a moment to thank Michelle and the incredible YWCA team for their vision and dedication. Please join me in a round of applause. With partners, advocates, and champions like you, we are creating a Southampton Roads where every woman, child, and family are not only survivors, but thrive. On behalf of our board of directors, thank you for being here today and for walking with us into this bold new chapter. We are now going to hear from some of our state leadership. Please join me in welcoming Aaron Carter from Senator Warner's office, Janet Lomax from Senator Kane's office, and Congressman Bobby Scott.
Good afternoon. Glad to be in my favorite city in Hampton Roads. This is my hometown. I'm Aaron Carter. I serve as the regional director for United States Senator Mark Warner. And I just want to say on behalf of Senator Mark Warner, we're so excited that this day has finally came. And we know this venture is going to do great things and help the upward economic mobility of women from Portsmouth and all around Hampton Roads. And as you know, Senator Warner, he's a big entrepreneur, and so he's very proud to have work with this and secure some federal funding for this facility. So just want to say congratulations to Michelle and the whole YWCA team. And you couldn't have done it at a better place at Mustard Seed, because he loves Dr. Angela Redis as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Janet Lomax. I am Senator Kane's Military Outreach Coordinator, and on his behalf, I am so glad and honored that we were invited to participate in this event. Senator Kane has been a proud supporter of YWCA, and he secured $1.4 million in funding for one of the programs that YWCA of Southampton Roads will be administering here, the Fostering Futures for Women's program. He is an advocate also of businesses. Reason being is Senator Kane came from a family that owned its own business, so he really advocates for programs such as these. And we know that women-owned businesses, in particular, businesses owned by women of color who face substantial challenges in accessing resources, need all the support that they can get, and this opportunity presented and given to them here at this place does just that for him. That is why programs like Fostering Future for Women are so critical, and having business incubators dedicated to helping women launch and grow their own businesses and overcome these resources gap are really important to him. Senator Kane looks forward to seeing a new generation of successful business owners emerging from programs like this. And I know the next time he's in the area, we will make sure that he's able to come and visit at this program. And so he sends his regards with a letter for you, and I'd like to read that at this time. It says, "Dear friends, it gives me great pleasure to congratulate the YWCA Southampton Roads on today's ribbon cutting ceremony for the Why Women Prosper Economic Empowerment Academy. The YWCA Southampton Roads has played an instrumental role in the community since its establishment. You have provided innovative strategies to solve issues of importance to our local community and beyond. And I know this newish initiative will be another in your demonstrated record of excellence. I appreciate the organization's deep commitment to women's economic advancement initiatives. I commend you on achieving the Why Women Prosper Economic Empowerment Academy project completion, which will support the development of new businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of our communities. I grew up in a small business family, and I know that economic strength of our nation is powered by small business owners and those who advocate on their behalf. Thank you for the valuable work that you are doing. Please accept my best wish for continued success. Signed sincerely, Senator Tim Kaine."
Good morning, YWCA and friends. Certainly a pleasure to be here, and I want to congratulate the YWCA for its continuing fight, and they brag about it, fight against racism. That is a challenging fight when some have dedicated themselves to eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion, the very definition of racist activity. If you're getting rid of diversity, I mean, what are you, in favor of segregation? At some point, it is delightful to see an organization stand up. Things have gotten so bad in fighting against, not fighting against racism, that they've actually redefined the title of victim of discrimination. Used to be if you went to a restaurant and they said, "No, we don't serve people like you," you are the victim of discrimination. Now if you go to a baker and ask him to bake a cake, he says, "No, we don't bake cakes for people like you." If they have convinced the Supreme Court that if you make him bake the cake, he is the victim of discrimination, not the customer. I'm glad these people weren't around in the 1960s when they passed the Civil Rights Bill. They'd have been giving civil rights to people who wanted to discriminate, not the people who wanted the right to public accommodations. But the Y has been there fighting racism, and they haven't changed. And they're not just complaining about it, they're actually doing something about it, fighting for equity and justice. The YMCA having the Women Empowerment Academy, giving women the skills that they need to stand up for themselves, not depending on anybody. They can do it themselves. And we know that model works because they're having this event right here at the Mustard Seed. So congratulations, keep up the good work.
Now it's my turn again. I want to bring up Kimberly Wimbish from Speaker Don Scott.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Portsmouth. Like my friend Aaron said, I'm a proud product of Portsmouth, so I'm grateful to have the YWCA here in Portsmouth as a small business owner, entrepreneur, and advocate of women, currently even representing the late sailor Angelina Resendez from the naval base that was viciously murdered and killed by a fellow sailor. It is an honor to have this establishment here in the city of Portsmouth. I serve as the Director of Constituent Affairs for the Speaker of the House, Don Scott, and he sends his letter in regards here today. Dear President Michelle Ellis Young, it is with great pride and enthusiasm that I welcome the YWCA Southampton Roads to Portsmouth and congratulate you on the ribbon cutting at the Mustard Seed Place. For over a century, the YWCA Southampton Roads has been a source of refuge, empowerment, and courage. We have walked with survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and harassment through their darkest hours and given them the tools to rebuild. You have worked across racial, gender, and social lines to break down systems of oppression and to ensure that dignity and justice are not just ideals but realities for thousands of people each year. Portsmouth is proud to now be a part of that mission. In this city, we know the strength of resilience, and we know that meaningful change requires organizations and leaders who are willing to meet people where they are, walk with them, and fight alongside them. That is exactly what the YWCA has always done. I thank you for your service, your leadership, and your unshakable belief in the power of community. I look forward to all that we'll accomplish together as you continue your mission to uplift every individual you serve. With gratitude and respect, Don Scott, Speaker of the House. Thank you. And Dr. Redis, Don said, keep bringing people from Norfolk because we need more businesses over here. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Brian Donahue. All right.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a moving, inspiring, and exciting day that we have here to celebrate. It's an honor to be here in front of you on behalf of the City of Portsmouth Economic Development Department to celebrate the ribbon cutting of the new YWCA Southampton Roads Why Women Prosper Empowerment Academy and Equity and Justice Center. So at first glance, this may not seem like a traditional economic development event, but make no mistake, strong communities are the foundation of strong economies. When we invest in organizations like the YWCA, we're investing in public safety, workforce stability, family support, and the long-term resilience of our region. And this center is more than just a physical space, it's a vital community asset. It will provide life-saving services to survivors of domestic and sexual violence, offer resources for women and families, and advance equity in ways that benefit our entire region, not just Portsmouth. The mission of the YWCA to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all aligns with the kind of community that we are working to build every day here in the city of Portsmouth, one where every person feels safe, valued, and equipped to contribute. And we know that when people have access to supportive services and resources, childcare, counseling, housing, and advocacy, they're not just surviving, they're thriving. And when individuals thrive, so do neighborhoods, businesses, schools, and the local economy. So I would personally like to thank leadership, Michelle Ellis Young, staff and volunteers of the YWCA for their tireless work, the board and donors for their vision, and the many public and private partners who've helped to bring this facility to life today. This is a powerful example of what happens when we blend compassion with strategy and community care with smart investment. So congratulations on this milestone. We're proud to stand with you in building a stronger, safer, and more equitable Hampton Roads. I look forward to cutting the ribbon with you all today and opening the doors to a brighter future for everyone. Thank you so much.
Hello again. Next, we have Mayor Glover of Portsmouth. Oh, wait. There we go.
I am often reminded of the quote that says, we should not measure our life by the number of breaths that we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Jasmine, thank you for sharing your story of resilience, faith, hope, and overcoming. It should be a guide to us all that in the hour of your darkest time, there is still hope that you can come out of it. And to my friend, Michelle Ellis Young, thank you for bringing the YWCA to downtown Portsmouth. We are grateful. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to take a moment to acknowledge a couple of my council colleagues that are here with us today. I see Councilman Mark Hugel and also I think Councilwoman Catherine Kitty Bryant. I told Catherine that I wouldn't call her Kitty in public. So, it's a kind of a name of endearment almost, but thank you all. Are there any other of my colleagues from council? I can't see everyone, so if they're here, stand and I'll recognize you as well. Once again, as I said, good afternoon, and what a blessing it is to be here today in the heart of this beautiful downtown for this occasion. This ribbon cutting at the Mustard Seed Place right here is for our friends at the YWCA. And on behalf of the City of Portsmouth, our City Council, and all of our citizens, I want to thank the YMCA for once again demonstrating what it means to truly care for and invest in our community. For generations, the YWCA has been a cornerstone of hope and healing here in the City of Portsmouth. This is not an organization that just provides programs and services. This is an organization that saves lives, uplifts families, and gives people the strength to believe in a brighter tomorrow. And today, inside the Mustard Seed Place, we continue to offer the tradition of love, service in a powerful way. The name itself tells a beautiful story. The mustard seed holds the potential to grow into something strong, sheltering, and life-giving. And in the same way, this place nurtures hope from even the smallest beginnings. Maybe it's a woman walking through these doors who feels broken, but will leave restored. Maybe it's a mother and her children who arrive here in fear, but who will walk out someday with confidence, stability, and peace. Maybe it's someone who doesn't yet believe in themselves, as Jasmine talked about. That is what the YWCA stands for: empowerment, peace, justice, and dignity for all. And friends, let's be clear, these are not abstract ideals. These are real life-changing commitments, because when women are empowered, families grow stronger. When families are strong, neighborhoods thrive. When neighborhoods thrive, whole cities rise. This is why the Mustard Seed Place matters so much. It is not only about providing shelter, but about planting seeds of transformation. Seeds that will take root in the lives of women and families and grow into legacies of resilience, courage, and success. What excites me most is that this is not just the work the YWCA does alone. This space exists because of a community that came together, donors who gave, volunteers who served, staff who worked tirelessly, and partners who believed. This ribbon we're about to cut represents the power of unity. When Portsmouth comes together, we don't just dream, folks. We build, and we don't just hope, we act. So today I want to say thank you. Thank you to the YMCA and my good friend Michelle for your leadership. Thank you to everyone who invested in this vision. And thank you to the countless individuals who will make this place a home filled with safety, love, and growth. And as we stand here today, we know that this is more than just a building. It is a sanctuary. It is a place where fear can give way to peace, where despair will give way to dignity, and where isolation can give way to empowerment. Congratulations to the YWCA and the Mustard Seed Place on this remarkable milestone. This is a proud day for Portsmouth, an even prouder day for every life that will be changed within these walls. Thank you. God bless you all. Let's cut this ribbon, ladies.
I want to bring up Leah Williams Rumbley, who is the Chief Impact and Operations Officer for the Equity and Justice Center.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jasmine. My name is Leah Williams Rumbley. I'm the Chief Impact and Operations Officer of the YWCA Southampton Roads. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the Equity and Justice Center. It's a transformative community space grounded in the belief that equity must be holistic. The center is committed to...
And acetylcholine. Norepinephrine is kind of similar to epinephrine. So in other words, when our eye...
The center is committed to creating lasting change across the interconnected pillars of racial, social, environmental, and economic justice. The racial equity pillar, at the heart of racial equity and at the heart of the Equity and Justice Center, is a commitment to dismantling systemic racism and advancing racial justice. The center serves as a hub for advocacy, education, and healing, offering programs that empower communities of color, elevate marginalized voices, and foster cross-cultural understanding. Through workshops, forums, and restorative practices, the center helps individuals and institutions recognize, confront, and address racial inequities. The social equity pillar. The center champions a vision of society where everyone, regardless of identity, background, or circumstance, has the opportunity to thrive. It addresses issues such as gender-based violence, housing instability, and access to education and healthcare. By centering lived experiences and amplifying community-led solutions, the center builds inclusive systems that prioritize human dignity and equal opportunity. The environmental equity pillar. Recognizing that environmental injustice disproportionately affects communities of color and low-income populations, the center advocates for sustainable, healthy environments for all. It supports initiatives that increase access to clean air and water, safe housing, and green spaces, while promoting climate justice as a civil rights issue. The center also partners with local organizations to educate and mobilize the community on environmental health and resilience. The economic equity pillar. Economic justice is central to the center's mission to break cycles of poverty and build intergenerational wealth. Through financial literacy programs, workforce development, and entrepreneurial support, the center helps individuals and families achieve economic stability and mobility. It also works to challenge systemic barriers in employment, wages, and housing that perpetuate inequality. Through initiatives such as the Why Women Prosper Empowerment Academy, the YWCA Southampton Roads, and the Equity and Justice Center is a catalyst for structural change, advancing equity across all areas of life by addressing the root causes of injustice and empowering communities to lead the way forward. Thank you.
Just a program. The Why Women Prosper Empowerment.
Third time's charm.
Why Women Prosper Empowerment Academy isn't just a program. It's a starting point. It's where women who've been overlooked get the tools, support, and confidence they need to take control of their finances, build a career, or launch a business that actually works for them. Pearl, a survivor, came through the doors of YWCA Southampton Roads with a dream of ownership. Through our 4 pillars, we are now able to make her dream a reality. So our first pillar, entrepreneurship and innovation, turning side hustles into sustainable businesses. Pillar 2, financial literacy, teaching women how to budget, build credit, and plan for the future. Pillar 3, career readiness, from resume building to digital literacy and job connections. And pillar 4, leadership and advocacy, so our women feel confident, not just at work, but in the world. This is where transformation begins. The mentorship, the workshops, the community. It's all designed to help women take control, build wealth that lasts, and lead with confidence right here in Hampton Roads. So if you want to see real change for women in our community, step in, volunteer, donate, share, because when we move together, we build futures that last.
Good afternoon, everyone. Beautiful people. I am truly honored to stand with you today at this wonderful launch and ribbon cutting. It's just so near and dear to my heart for many reasons, and my connection to the YWCA. Well, my purpose of being here, I could be up here maybe for about 20 minutes. Michelle, is that good for prayer? Okay. Okay, just a joke. Get you all laughing. No 20-minute prayers. Okay. But I will say that I sought the Lord, and he heard and he answered. You all know that song, right? Amen. All right. So let's go to God in prayer and hear what he has to share with us today. So gracious and mighty God, we come before you with hearts full of gratitude and great expectation. We gather today in sacred celebration to honor the birth of a vision, to bless the work of hands and hearts, and to declare with boldness that women and girls shall renew their strength, run and not be weary, walk and not faint, and they shall prosper, not only in resources and opportunity, but in peace, in purpose, and in the fullness of who you created them to be. We thank you for the YWCA and the Why Women Prosper Academy, for the leaders who dreamed this into being, and for every woman who will walk through these doors to discover the power, her purpose, and her promise. We lift up the voices of those not yet in this room, the women and girls who have been overlooked, underserved, unheard. Let this academy be a beacon for them, a place where their stories are honored, their talents cultivated, and their futures rewritten with dignity and hope. We pray for Michelle Ellis Young, the visionary CEO, for her staff, whose hands shape the daily miracles, for the volunteers whose hearts fuel the mission, for the board members and community leaders who steward this work with wisdom, courage, and care. We once again thank you for the Mustard Seed Place, a building named for faith, now filled with purpose. Let it be more than bricks and mortar. Let it be a sanctuary of transformation. We speak peace over this building. May every hallway echo with hope, every room be filled with restoration, and every threshold welcome possibility. We speak life over every curriculum, every conversation, every mentor and mentee, every breakthrough and brave beginning. May this academy be a launch pad for legacy, where women rise not only for themselves, but for their families, their communities, and generations to come. God, we ask that you infuse this work with wisdom and courage. Let equity be more than a goal. Let it be the culture. Let hope be more than a feeling. Let it be the strategy. And Lord, we ask for your daily protection. You are Jehovah Nissi, our banner, our source of strength and triumph. Lord, we ask for your continuous provision. You are Jehovah Jireh, our provider. May every need be met with abundance, every vision resourced with favor, and every step forward sustained by your grace. Provide for this academy, God, its programs, its people, not just for today, but for every season to come. Let generosity flow, let partnerships flourish, and let your provision be a testimony of your faithfulness. And as we cut this ribbon today, we do so with joy, with reverence, and with resolve. We declare that every woman who enters these doors will walk in that strength, rise in that dignity, and lead with that joy, knowing that what begins here will ripple far beyond these walls. For he who began a good work in us will be faithful to complete it. Bless this ceremony. Bless all in attendance. Bless this academy, and bless every woman and girl who dares to prosper. May she be reminded she is called, she is capable, and she is covered. May this academy flourish and its legacy endure. And it is in the merciful, matchless, mighty name of Jesus we pray, and all under the sound of my voice said, Amen.
Wow. I have to look you in your eye. Wow. There truly is nothing more powerful than purpose that came from pain. And that is what I took from that. There is nothing more powerful than purpose that came from pain. And I'm going to tell you that there is no woman that walks through these doors who isn't filled with pain and purpose. And on that note, I would like to invite Lisa Saunders and Nina Ward from Dollar Bank to come up, please.
Hello, everyone. We're here representing Dollar Bank. Since opening our doors in 1855, Dollar Bank has been committed to being an inclusive community bank. And so we are committed to empowering. Thank you. He saw that I was standing on my tiptoes.
That wouldn't be much help.
So we are delighted to be partnering with the YWCA. We know that empowering everyone in our communities is how we create a prosperous community. And so we're presenting a grant today, and this is just a sign of our ongoing partnership with the YWCA. We're happy to be continuing partners and to invest in the YWCA's future.
Okay.
It is with the most deepest and sincerest honor of mine to introduce you to the CEO of the YWCA of Southampton Roads. If you all could please stand on your feet. No. This woman, I love you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Lottie Dottie and everybody. All right. I just wanted to make sure we were still up in the room, or at least still had a little gangster in us. Wow. What a beautiful day. This is for YWCA Southampton Roads. This day was not chosen lightly. If you are not aware, today is August the 26th. It is one day after August 25th. Yesterday, we honored 20 years of Katrina coming through New Orleans, Louisiana, my hometown, where if it had not been for an entrepreneurial spirit, the city would not be thriving right now. And it was more than 7 decades ago, in 1920, that on August the 26th, that we are now today celebrating the anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. So today is Women's Equality Day. This year's theme for the year is for all women and girls: rights, equality, empowerment. So as I stand before you today, with pure joy and great humility, this moment was destined to happen, and it is so. So for our partners, and for our community, and for every woman who dares to dream bigger than her circumstances, Jasmine, you dare to dream bigger than your circumstances. So I thank you for your presence, for your power, and for your purpose that you place in the earth, that you don't bottle up, that you freely give and freely share, because there's someone who's counting on the power of your testimony to know that they can have one too. I want to first say this by beginning to recognize and thank many of our distinguished guests and partners who have helped make this day possible. I want to say to our U.S. Senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner, whose leadership and advocacy secured $1.428 million of congressionally directed spending funding through the United States Small Business Administration that powers our first Why Women Prosper program, fostering futures for women.
We are an organization rooted in feminism. We are an organization rooted in anti-racism, unapologetically. And we're an organization that has stood the test of time across the globe for more than 165 years. And right here in the cities of Portsmouth, the city of Norfolk, the city of Virginia Beach, the city of Chesapeake, the city of Suffolk, the city of Franklin, and the county of Southampton for more than 116 years. As the premier, because it's a sad dog that won't wag its own tail, as the premier domestic violence sheltering program in the city of Norfolk, where we are rooted and remain, and as the sexual assault crisis responder for all of Southampton Roads and Southampton County, we do this work not because we want our names called. We do this work not because we're looking for accolades. We show up every single day in the hard places and spaces of our communities to ensure that women and girls, men who are a growing population in our service care for domestic violence, and marginalized communities have a fair shake in this game we call life. And there are a group of people that make that possible for us every single day. We are probably the only, well, now the second, we used to be the first till this Dr. Reddix tried to come around and just took up Hampton Roads, y'all. But we used to be the only 100% women's-led organization in this community. And we are not deviating from that. So we have a couple of our board of directors and our former board members. If you're in this room, please stand, because these are the women who undergird me in every single way to make sure that we live out the fullness of our mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and to promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. And then there's another group of people who work tirelessly every single day. Anyone who has worked for a nonprofit understands the plight of a nonprofit, especially in days like these. So when I say this group of people give it all that they have and then some of them being pressed to the margins themselves for what life is bringing their way and throwing at them every single day. But they show up, and they show up because there are clients, there are guests, and there is a community that is waiting on them. And so for every team member of YWCA Southampton Roads, I'd like for you to please stand, come in the room, and be recognized. Some of them are over here. Our incredible donors, and I see many of you in here. This work could not be fueled without your support. It could not be fueled without your belief. And it could not be fueled without your trust that we will steward and steward well. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And many of our volunteers who show up to augment the staff that we sometimes don't have, but our services still go on in this community. I want to say thank you as well. I want to give a special thanks to 3 people in this room because today would not have been possible without them. You see, it was just a week and a half. We had a team member who just decided, I don't want to work anymore. No warning, no nothing. The world we live in today, y'all, it's just kind of like that. I'm not the only one. You can do all the things you want to do, and people make the decisions because people will people every single day. But what I can tell you is that there's always a ram in a bush. And when I tell you that there was not a question of what we gonna do, it was, okay, we gotta get this done. Let's figure this out. When I tell you that this tribe of two and then a third one came up in here to make it all happen, that Leah Williams Rumbley, she's the boss. Thank you, Leah. Oh, I thought you were over there. Thank you, Leah. I call this one Silent Thunder. Where's Sierra? Come on, she's serving. That's Sierra right there, who's our gender and equity practitioner. I'll place her in any organization, any business, any municipality, anywhere, for her gift of training in the spaces of anti-racism and anti-violence. But when I tell you she serves with a servant's heart from her soul, I appreciate you. And then new to the club, 2 days spanking new, you get to meet Miss Gina Weekly, who will serve as our inaugural program manager for Why Women Prosper Empowerment Academy. Straight from the cornfields, I gotta say Iowa, but no stranger to Hampton Roads. She's been here before. She's been here before, just as Leah has. And sometimes I've learned that it takes the right person to inspire the greatness that was already in the house. And if you can't appreciate the greatness that's in the house, you will lose people. But I am not afraid, one, to lose people and to get great people. So I say this, that other person who stayed with me in my craziness to say, we're gonna do this, and I don't know how, but it's gonna happen, and you got to figure out the numbers for it. Donna Gill. Donna came to the YW on trust as my sister at a time when she needed us and we needed her. Work is hard, and when people don't value you, it's harder. So Donna was invited to come to YW as our director of finance. I couldn't pay her a CFO salary. I couldn't pay her what she was worth, but I could love her like no one else could until she was ready to go. And so, sister, from the bottom of my heart, you will always have a place in my soul. Always. And then there's this group of women we call the women of the mustard seed place, who have welcomed us into this space that is about growth, it's about possibility, and it's about the faith that can be planted and bloom right where you are. So all of our sisters of the mustard seed place, if you would please stand. Today we are
Today we cut a ribbon, but we're also opening a door. We are opening the door to economic opportunity, to what equity and justice for women who have been, who have been shut out of those doors for far too long. We are opening a door to training, to mentorship, and access to resources that will turn visions into viable businesses and ideas into sustainable careers. We are opening the door to the Why Women Prosper Empowerment Academy and investment in not just the futures of individual women, but in the future of this entire region. This is not the first time that YWCA Southampton Roads has been in the business of economic empowerment. In fact, today is a full circle moment, taking us back to our roots. You see, over a century ago, in the era when opportunities for Black women were scarce and often denied, there was a remarkable leader by the name of Laura Etta Davis Titus, who stepped forward to change the story. She founded the Black branch of the YWCA right here in Norfolk, a place where women could find training in entrepreneurship, skills development, and workforce readiness. Back then, those programs equipped women to become seamstresses, caterers, teachers, and business owners in their own right. They didn't just learn to work for someone else. They learned how to work for themselves, to build legacies and create change for their families and their communities. Mrs. Titus understood something powerful. When we give a woman the tools to earn her own income, we give her the tools to change her life. And so here we are, more than 100 years later, standing in the same tradition of Mrs. Titus, bridging history and hope. My friends, this is what equity and justice truly looks like. The Why Women Prosper Empowerment Academy will serve as a training ground for women to gain real-world business skills, financial resilience and literacy, access to capital, and pathways to career advancement. The first program, made possible through the SBA funding secured by Senators Kaine and Warner, is called Fostering Futures for Women. This program is survivor inspired, and I want to tell you why. A couple of years ago, I happened to be visiting our Almost Home sheltering program. And I'd heard about this woman who would work all day and come back to the shelter, and she would cook for the entire house. And so it was one day I got to experience the joy of Pearl. As I walked into our Almost Home sheltering program, I heard someone in the kitchen singing. And she was singing unto herself. No one was around. I walk into the kitchen and she says, "Hey, Miss Michelle." And I didn't know her. I said, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" I'm an HR nightmare. Yes, I will offend with terminology. And I worked in HR. I said, "What's your name?" And she said, "Pearl." I said, "Well, Pearl, it's nice to meet you." And she was just, I said, "So I heard you cook for everybody." And she said, "Miss Michelle, I love to cook." And we just had this conversation. And I said, "Pearl, you want a food truck, don't you?" She said, "Miss Michelle, how you know?" I said, "I could feel the spirit on you." She's like, "Miss Michelle, if I could have a food truck, I could change my life." So we hooked her up with a local partner. Unfortunately, Pearl did what the statistics say. It takes 7 times for a woman to leave an abusive relationship. This was Pearl's 4th time. We don't give up on Pearl, but Pearl stayed in my spirit. Pearl was navigating deep personal trauma. but she also carried a very quiet passion. That was cooking for other people. You see, for her, preparing a meal was more than putting food on a plate. It was an act of love, a step towards healing, and a way to reclaim her total sense of purpose. Pearl's story reminds us that talent, determination, and entrepreneurship often live right alongside resilience. And it is in her spirit, her desire to create something beautiful out of her ashes, is what inspired me to say, this is the space we need to be in if we are to truly empower women. And so Fostering Futures was built on a hope and a dream that one of our senators would say yes, and it is so. This program will give our women the training, coaching, and resources they need to transform their own passions into pathways of economic independence. And so we are grateful to be in this space that's called the Mustard Seed Place, because it's a perfect name for such a perfect moment. Because just like a mustard seed, the work we plant here may be small, but it has the power to grow into something expansive, life-giving, and deeply rooted in the soil of justice, equity, and opportunity. So I want y'all to do something for me before I close. Won't be 3 times, I am a Baptist preacher, but I'm gonna let y'all out of here. This often happens to us, that people will say the YMCA. I hope nothing against them. I love Anthony, but when those checks get written and I try to cash them, they do us no good here. So we're gonna brainwash you on today, give you a little Kool-Aid moment, where we're gonna say, see, and a menopausal moment too that happens. I want you to say, where the W makes the difference. 1, 2, 3. Where the W makes the difference. So every time you catch yourself saying YMCA, remember you say, but the W, where the W makes a difference. YWCA, okay? And so as we celebrate today, we also commit. We commit to carrying out and carrying forward the spirit of Laura Etta Davis Titus. We commit to being a place where women, regardless of race, income, or circumstance, can find the tools, the training, and the belief she needs to prosper. And we commit to ensuring that when a woman walks through these doors, she will never have to walk her journey to economic freedom, gender-based violence, all by herself. So as they said, once or twice, let's cut this ribbon, let's plant the seed, and let's watch it grow for our community, for our history, and for the women who will change the world, starting right here in the place we call Hampton Roads. Here we go.